In the vast chain of islands that form Indonesia, one island rises with a presence that feels both ancient and alive. Bali, shaped by fire and water, devotion and discipline. Here, the land itself seems to breathe. Volcanoes anchor the horizon. Rivers descend from highlands to sea. Fields ripple with green, carved by human hands, yet governed by nature's rhythm. For centuries, this island has existed at the intersection of powerful forces, geological, spiritual, and human. Its people do not see themselves as separate from the landscape. They live within it, guided by an understanding that balance is not an ideal, but a necessity. Every day begins with ritual. Offerings are placed not for spectacle, but for harmony. Between people, the gods, and the land beneath their feet. This philosophy shapes everything here: how villages are built, how fields are planted, how art is created, and how time itself is measured. Bali's story is not one of isolation. Traders, priests, and travelers arrive from India, Java, China, and beyond. Yet, unlike many places transformed by contact, Bali absorbed influence without losing its core. What emerged is a culture deeply rooted in place, where religion is not confined to temples and art is not separated from daily life. A journey into how an island sustains harmony amid constant change. To understand Bali, one must begin with the land. Because here, the land is the first teacher. So sit back, relax, and let us explore the island of Bali. Bali exists because of collision. Deep beneath the island, tectonic plates grind slowly against one another. A restless boundary where the earth is never still. This movement gave rise to Bali's volcanoes. Towering sentinels that dominate the island's interior. Mount Agom stands as the most sacred among them, both feared and revered. Its eruptions have reshaped the land repeatedly, depositing layers of ash that would later become the foundation of extraordinary fertility. Volcanic soil defines Bali's agriculture. Rich in minerals, it transforms steep slopes into productive ground, if water can be controlled. And water is everything here. Rain falls generously in the highlands, feeding rivers that flow outward toward the sea. For centuries, Balinese communities learned to guide this water with remarkable precision. They carved channels, tunnels, and terraces, creating one of the most sophisticated irrigation systems in the world. This system is known as Subak. More than engineering, it is philosophy in action. Subak connects farmers across entire watersheds. Planting schedules are synchronized to control pests and maximize yield. Water is shared, not owned. Decisions are made collectively, guided by temples that mark the flow from mountain to field. Rice terraces cascade down hillsides like green stairways, following contours shaped by gravity and care. Each level depends on the one above it. Balance is built into the system: ecological, social, and spiritual. Farming here is not industrial. It is intimate. Planting and harvest align with lunar cycles and ceremonial calendars. Fields are blessed before seeds are placed. Gratitude accompanies labor. Rice is not merely food. It is sacred, a gift from the gods, sustained through cooperation between humans and nature. Beyond rice, the land supports fruit trees, spices, coffee, and vegetables. Villages are planned with agriculture at their core, ensuring proximity between home, temple, and field. The complexity of this agricultural landscape creates a unique micro-ecosystem. A mosaic of biodiversity that thrives within the flooded paddies. As water moves from one terrace to the next, it brings with it a surge of life. Eels, frogs, and dragonflies find sanctuary in the shallow pools, acting as natural pest controllers and nutrient recyclers. This is a multi-layered world where the wild and the cultivated are inextricably linked. The farmers recognize that a healthy field is more than just rice. It is a living community. By preserving the ancient trees that shade the water sources and respecting the wildlife that inhabits the margins, the Balinese maintain a biological equilibrium that has endured for over 1,000 years. Shielding the land from the exhaustion that plagues modern industrial farming. Yet, this stability is constantly tested by the very geology that created it. The island is a masterclass in erosion control, where the massive weight of the water-soaked terraces must be held against the pull of gravity on near-vertical slopes. To prevent landslides, the Balinese have developed a profound understanding of soil mechanics. Using deep-rooted vegetation and intricate stone retaining walls to anchor their world. It is a ceaseless, generational labor of maintenance. A silent war against the elements, fought with nothing but hand tools and shared resolve. This enduring struggle reinforces the bond between the people and their territory, making every grain of rice a hard-won victory of human spirit over the raw, unstable power of a volcanic island. This relationship between geology and agriculture shapes daily life. Eruptions may destroy villages, but they also renew the soil. Floods may disrupt harvests, but they replenish waterways. Adaptation is continuous. Generations learn to read signs, cloud patterns, soil texture, water flow. Knowledge is passed orally, refined through experience rather than instruction manuals. In Bali, farming is not separate from belief. It is an active balance. Between risk and reward, reverence and labor, the landscape teaches patience. It demands cooperation, and it reminds those who live here that prosperity is never individual, it is shared. This shared prosperity extends far beyond the reach of the human hand. Flowing into the wilder, uncultivated corners of the island, where the forest meets the field. The mineral wealth of the volcanoes, channeled through the Subak waters, eventually finds its way into the deep jungle ravines, nourishing a staggering array of life. In these humid corridors, giant banyan trees drop aerial roots like cathedral pillars, anchoring the loose volcanic soil against the monsoon rains, while werebirds and primates thrive on the fruit of a landscape supercharged by the Earth's internal heat. It is a reminder that the agricultural terraces are not an island unto themselves, but part of a singular, breathing organism. The same nutrients that swell a grain of rice in the valley eventually feed the furthest reaches of the canopy, weaving the survival of the village and the survival of the wilderness into a single golden thread of volcanic legacy. In Bali, religion is not a separate sphere of life. It is the structure upon which life is organized. Balinese Hinduism evolved differently from its Indian origins. Shaped by geography, local belief, and centuries of continuity. It is a lived faith, practiced not only in temples, but in homes, fields, streets, and marketplaces. At the heart of this belief system is harmony, harmony between humans and the divine, between people and one another, and between humanity and the natural world. Temples are everywhere. Some large and ceremonial, others small and intimate. They mark crossroads, mountains, rivers, and coastlines, each aligned with spiritual direction and purpose. Mountains are sacred. The sea is powerful and unpredictable. Villages are oriented between the two, creating a symbolic axis that guides architecture and daily movement. Ritual structures time itself. Days, weeks, and years are organized around ceremonial calendars, far more complex than the Gregorian system. Life events, birth, coming of age, marriage, death, are each marked with offerings, music, and prayer. Offerings are crafted daily. Small woven trays filled with flowers, rice, incense, and intention. They are placed on doorsteps, altars, sidewalks, acknowledging unseen forces believed to shape balance. Art in Bali emerges directly from devotion. Dance is prayer in motion. Every gesture is precise, every movement symbolic. Eyes shift sharply, fingers bend deliberately, feet trace patterns passed down through generations. Gamelan music accompanies these dances. Layered rhythms of bronze and wood that pulse like a collective heartbeat. No single instrument dominates. Harmony emerges from cooperation. Visual arts carry similar meaning. Stone carving decorates temples and gates. Wood carving brings deities, demons, and ancestral figures into physical form. Painting tells stories from epic texts, rendered in styles unique to villages and lineages. This artistic devotion begins in the home, within the family compound, which is itself a miniature map of the cosmos. Every traditional dwelling is oriented toward the sacred peak of Mount Agung, with the family temple occupying the most hallowed corner. The architecture is a physical manifestation of hierarchy and respect. Where even the placement of a bedroom or a kitchen follows a spiritual logic designed to ward off misfortune and invite prosperity. Within these walls, children grow up surrounded by the scent of sandalwood and the sound of their elders chanting, absorbing a sense of identity that is literally built into the stone and timber of their surroundings. To live in a Balinese home is to exist within a permanent sanctuary, where every pillar and courtyard serves as a silent anchor for the soul. Beyond the visible structures, there is a profound, invisible labor in the preparation for the island's grandest ceremonies. For weeks leading up to a temple anniversary, entire villages become workshops of ephemeral art. Men construct towering penjor, bamboo poles decorated with intricate palm leaf weavings that line the streets like golden arches. While women assemble massive, multi-tiered fruit offerings called gebagun, balancing them with effortless grace atop their heads. Most of this beauty is destined to be consumed or allowed to decay, a deliberate embrace of impermanence. In Bali, the act of creation is considered more sacred than the finished object. It is a continuous, selfless cycle of giving back to the universe, ensuring that the ancient dialogue between the island and its gods remains unbroken. Art here is not created for individual fame. It serves community and ceremony. Skills are learned young, refined through repetition, and offered back to society. Even everyday objects carry symbolism: textiles, masks, architecture. Nothing is purely decorative. Everything holds purpose. Religion and art reinforce one another, creating continuity across centuries. They offer stability in a landscape shaped by volcanic force and seasonal change. In Bali, belief is not abstract. It is embodied, danced, carved, sung, and lived. It is a profound surrender of the self. A belief that true beauty is not something humans invent, but something they invite. In this way, the arts of Bali serve as a constant shimmering bridge. Allowing the intangible power of the gods to take a physical, breathing shape in the world of men. In the 20th century, Bali entered a new phase of its story. The outside world began to arrive, first through artists and anthropologists, later through mass tourism. The island's beauty drew attention quickly. Its temples, terraces, and ceremonies became global symbols of serenity and spirituality. Tourism transformed the economy. Infrastructure expanded. Villages connected to global markets. New opportunities emerged, alongside new pressures. Cities grew. Coastal areas changed rapidly. Traditional livelihoods increasingly intersected with modern industries. Yet Bali did not simply surrender to change, it adapted selectively. Many communities sought to integrate tourism without abandoning core values. Ceremonies continued. Sub-act systems remained active. Local governance preserved communal decision-making. Modern education expanded horizons, while cultural instruction remained central. Young Balinese learned technology alongside traditional arts. Global awareness coexisted with local identity. This collision of worlds is perhaps most visible in the southern districts. Where the rhythmic crashing of the Indian Ocean now competes with the hum of a digital economy. Here, rice fields that have stood for centuries are increasingly bordered by modern architecture, cafes, and creative hubs that draw a new kind of global nomad. This rapid urbanization has created a landscape of stark contrasts. Where a farmer walking his ducks may pass a sleek storefront of glass and steel. It is a visual dialogue between the ancestral and the contemporary. A constant reminder that Bali is no longer an isolated sanctuary. But a central node in a hyper-connected world. The challenge lies in ensuring that these new structures do not overshadow the very cultural foundations that made the island a destination in the first place. The strain is perhaps most felt in the island's most precious resource, its water. As luxury resorts and private villas proliferate, the ancient Subak system, the very lifeblood of the island's agriculture, faces an unprecedented crisis of diversion. The sacred flow that once moved solely from mountain to paddy is now pulled towards swimming pools and sprawling golf courses, creating a silent conflict over the island's liquid heritage. In response, a new generation of activists and environmentalists is rising, merging modern ecological science with the ancient philosophy of Tree Hitta Karana. They are fighting to prove that the island's prosperity cannot be measured by visitor numbers alone. But by the health of its springs and the survival of the communal spirit that water has always represented. Tension exists. Water resources are strained. Development tests ecological limits. The balance once maintained effortlessly now requires conscious protection. But resilience persists. Tourism in Bali is not only consumption, it is also exchange. Visitors witness rituals not staged, but lived. They encounter a culture that insists on meaning beyond convenience. Balinese society continues to negotiate modernity, not rejecting it, but refusing to be defined by it. This negotiation is ongoing. It is careful. And it reflects the same philosophy that shaped agriculture and religion: balance over excess. This balance is the island's ultimate defense against the eroding forces of the modern age. It ensures that Bali remains not a relic of the past, but a vibrant, breathing sanctuary where the ancient and the new can inhabit the same space. Surrounding Bali is an ocean as influential as the land itself. Warm tropical waters meet powerful currents, creating one of the most biologically rich marine regions on Earth. Here, coral reefs form underwater cities, layered, intricate, alive with movement. Schools of fish move as one, flashing silver and blue. Reef sharks patrol quietly. Sea turtles glide through columns of light, ancient travelers in a modern sea. The Indonesian through flow passes these shores, carrying nutrients between the Pacific and Indian Oceans. This constant exchange fuels life, plankton blooms, reef growth, and complex food webs that sustain countless species. Along the coast, humans and sea have long shared a relationship shaped by respect and dependence. Fishing villages rise with the tide and rest with the moon. Boats are launched by hand. Knowledge of currents, seasons, and behavior is passed through observation rather than charts. In the deeper channels, where the sunlight begins to fade into a bruising blue, the island's most enigmatic residents emerge from the abyss. The mola mola, or oceanic sunfish, a prehistoric giant that looks more like a floating stone than a fish, rises from the cold depths to the surface, seeking the warmth of the tropical sun. Beside them, the manta rays glide with a bird-like grace. Their massive wingspans creating silhouettes of celestial beauty against the shimmering surface. These are the nomads of the archipelago. Grand witnesses to the ocean's vastness, whose presence here is a testament to the health of the deep-sea corridors that feed the island's fringes. To encounter them is to realize that the land we walk upon is merely the tip of a much larger, much older aquatic kingdom. But the true strength of this marine world lies in its smallest architects. On the reef's edge, billions of tiny coral polyps labor in a slow-motion construction that has lasted for epochs. They are the silent foundations of the island, engineers of calcium carbonate that provide the very structure upon which all other life depends. This is a world of fierce competition and miraculous cooperation. Where every crevice is a home and every shadow holds a hunter. The health of these microscopic organisms is the barometer for the island's future. When the corals thrive, the sea remains a bountiful provider. It is a delicate, shimmering tapestry of survival, proving that even the smallest life form plays a vital role in maintaining the grand equilibrium of the Indonesian Sea. Spiritual belief extends into the water. The ocean is powerful, unpredictable, and sacred. Ceremonies honor its force, acknowledging that what gives life can also take it away. Bali's reefs are not untouched. Rising temperatures, pollution, and overuse have left marks. Coral bleaching reminds observers that balance, once disrupted, is difficult to restore. Yet recovery is possible. Marine sanctuaries, local stewardship, and reef restoration projects now work alongside traditional wisdom. Communities adapt, protecting breeding grounds, limiting extraction, and restoring damaged ecosystems. The sea, like the land, responds to care. Where protection exists, life returns. Bali's marine world mirrors its philosophy. Interdependence, adaptation, restraint. Above the water, sunsets ignite the horizon. Below it, ecosystems continue their silent labor, sustaining the island in ways unseen but essential. The ocean does not belong to Bali. Bali belongs to the ocean. Bali is not defined by a single landscape, belief, or moment in time. It is defined by relationship between fire and water, between mountain and sea, between the visible and the unseen. Here, balance is not an abstract idea. It is practiced daily through farming, ritual, art, and restraint. The island has endured volcanic destruction, shifting empires, and global attention. Yet its identity persists. Not because it resists change, but because it absorbs it carefully. Modernity arrives quickly, but tradition does not disappear. It adapts, reshapes, and continues. In Bali, progress is measured not only by growth, but by harmony. Not only by what is gained, but by what is preserved. As we look across the terraced valleys at dusk, we see more than just a landscape. We see a social contract written in the earth itself. It is a reminder that humanity's greatest achievements are not found in the monuments we build to ourselves, but in the systems we create to sustain one another. The Balinese have known for a millennium what the modern world is only beginning to rediscover. That we are inextricably part of the ecology we inhabit. Their lives are a testament to the fact that when we honor the source of our water, the health of our soil, and the dignity of our neighbors, we create a world that can weather any storm. This is the quiet, revolutionary power of a culture that puts equilibrium at the center of the human experience. In the final stillness of the evening, the distinction between the sacred and the profane seems to vanish entirely. The smoke from a village hearth is as much a part of the spiritual tapestry as the incense burning in the grandest temple. It is a philosophy that finds the divine in the ordinary. The eternal in the fleeting. As the modern world grows louder and more fragmented, Bali stands as a beacon of integration, a place that proves we can move forward without leaving our souls behind. It invites us to consider our own place in the grand design, reminding us that we too are temporary stewards of a world that was here long before us and will remain long after we are gone. Bali does not seek to be understood all at once. It reveals itself slowly to those willing to observe, listen, and remain still. This is not an island frozen in time. It is an island in motion. Guided by memory, shaped by nature, and sustained by balance. This is Bali, enduring, interconnected, alive. For more journeys like this, click subscribe and join us for more adventures around the world.